And back again, champions. Another contentious, if you choose, video. This one's opinion versus fact. Ooh, no. Seems like a very, very simple one, but it's not. It's very complicated, which is often how the simple ones work. Opinion versus fact. Ever tried that, played that game? I have, it sucks. And the reason it sucked for me is that I ran around deciding I was going to decide between opinion versus fact on my life. Everything I decided, everything I thought, everything I acted on, I was going to decide if it was opinion or a fact. And how I decided whether it was a fact or not is I decided whether it existed, whether I could see it in the world or not. And what that means is, like for instance, that person in front of me is driving very, very slowly. And I've just said that politically correctly, not how I was communicating it. And I got that that was completely my opinion. And I had complete control over that opinion. But that opinion was not a fact, and in fact it was a figment of my imagination. And I played that game over and over and over and over and over again until I realised how much of my life was a bunch of nonsense opinions that no one really gave a crap about and didn't make a difference in the world. Because no one really cares if someone's driving slow in traffic. We might be annoyed about it, but that makes no difference to the fact that the person in front of us, beside us or behind us is driving slow in traffic. We're all so busy with our opinions we never see what's going on out there. Well, at least for me. That was my opinion. That was my realisation. And the challenge with it is that an artificial general intelligence should be something that can differentiate between opinion and fact. I'll tell you why that's important. I thought it was a very, very good idea to drink Coke when I was a kid. I was told it on the TV, the advertisements. Drink, get a whole lot more out of life. I think that's it. Whatever. They had the adverts with all the young people in bikinis and swimsuits, I don't know, doing something cool, drinking Coke, having a great time. It wasn't until I was old and decrepit, that's not true. I've never become old. I just can't believe I've just said that. Brooksy, you did not hear that if you see this. It wasn't until I was old enough that I realised that that was an opinion. Very well tailored opinion, but it was an opinion nonetheless. Not that I ever thought it was a fact, but there was sort of like that subliminal messaging. The last thing we need is an artificial intelligence, one of those omnipotent beings, not being able to differentiate between opinion and fact. And the reason for that is it needs to know that it's infallible. It's not infallible. In other words, it's flawed is a better way to it. I'm going to use flawed. It needs to know that it's learning. No matter how smart it is, there's still stuff to learn. In other words, a lot of the stuff that, and the other thing is that a lot of the stuff that we learn is an opinion. There's a reason why in science it's called a law and a theory. And often those two things, we just completely miss them. And there's a reason that's designed that way. And the reason it's designed that way, the reason the scientific method exists, is because we learnt long ago that opinion is not a fact. And this is how we should, if we're going to go and present results, make it so that it's repeatable for someone else. So if we're going to turn around and say, hey, this is a fact, we want to make sure that the results are at least repeatable. Even if it's a theory, to get from the point of complete imagination to an actual theory requires that someone else be able to repeat those results. And, every day, I love the gravity analogy. Sir Isaac Newton developed this very great theory about gravity, and we were all taught it at school, great theory, except it's a theory. It's not a fact. And then you've got Einstein, who goes and creates a new theory. And so many people see it as this actual thing. How many people think that gravity is a force? Well, it's not. We don't know what it is. It's pretty cool, Because when you actually go and look at the current research in physics, we're not 100% certain what gravity is. I mean, hell, we're not even sure why paracetamol does what it does. Yeah, that's pretty cool, hey? And we love to walk around like we've got some kind of fact thing going on. And this is the thing that's going to come up for an artificial intelligence is, how do you know the difference between fact and opinion? Because opinion is really important. Opinion is the ability to create. Now, all of these words that I've said are not a fact. They're an opinion. It's something I've created. They're not true. We need an artificial intelligence who can create from nothing. Not from the past, not from learning 100 billion different conversations that human beings have got and then working out probabilistically which is the most likely one that it should use. That doesn't work. That's dumb. Because that's how you get Microsoft's neo-Nazi artificial intelligence. We've learnt these lessons. Opinion versus fact. It's like two different realities at exactly the same time. The challenge with it is there's not a lot of facts in the world. There's just not. It's one of the reasons why maths is so valuable is that while it's still a game that's made up completely, there is some rules that has it be like useful, and you can simulate these sorts of things like opinion versus fact. Like you can simulate two opposing viewpoints at exactly the same time, which means we're back to here again. This one, negative one, white and black, two opposing real, and their absolute value, the two opposing, the only way that it, for instance, that it can be two opposing is the absolute must also be equal for both. So we can play the game, we can discover what's opinion and what's fact. How I do that, I've got no idea. No idea whatsoever, mathematically I mean. Because just creating for no reason at all, who knows? There has to be some guidance on what we're creating. We just don't know enough about ourselves. Thanks for listening, champions.